Good morning, guys. Oh, I meant to hook this up to my, hold on.
Everybody's already in here this morning.
I meant to go ahead and hook this up to my hotspot, and then I returned a couple voicemails and totally lost track. So hold on 1 second, and we're going to pull Miss Kris in here from Kris and Larry, and then I am going to address everyone that is here. So give me 1 second. I thought I was going to be like ahead of the game here, and
you're not.
It's always that way.
You never are.
Well, the thing is, our roofing business comes before fun on YouTube, so I had to return those calls. All right, we should be good. We shouldn't have any trouble with the internet today since I was proactive and hooked to my hotspot. So who all is in here? Let's see. Oh, I've got the windows open. Look at the door's going to be. Hey, Nick, how are you? We've got Dean Family Acres and Annette.
Oh, Matt's in there.
Lazy Days now. Listen, I'm paying attention here. This is Lazy Days ahead. So it could be Jesse. It could be Lisa, but it's probably Jesse because it doesn't say Mrs. Lazy Days.
Sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to handle a couple of work calls this morning still. So.
And we've got Danny Days Homestead. Good morning, Miss Danny. And Chuck and Blenda, Spring Meadow. Oh, look, there's work calls.
It never stops.
It's probably one of the ones I just called. No, it's not. That's all right. We don't want it to stop. We praise God and that phone rings, right? All right. Well, if you noticed the title of today's live, it is going to be talking about freeze drying. So I'm going to pull Miss Kris in here.
Good morning. Good morning, you guys. I am good. It is early in Arizona. So I always giggle because Nick has his live shows like way early, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed to watch those. So
yeah,
call. Grayson's turkeys are at the post office. So I get to run right after this live and go pick up her turkeys for her showing this year.
That's so fun. I love when the post office calls and says that your animals have arrived.
Exactly. Like there's peeping.
It's almost like there's an urgency to come get your stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm like, well, I got something else going on, you guys. So bear with my morning face and my.
Did Nick go live this morning?
Do what?
Did Nick go live this morning?
Oh, I don't know if he did. I've been in the kitchen doing all sorts of stuff, gathering.
I didn't see it. If he did.
No, he goes early. It's he like starts at 6 a.m. Nick, I'm sorry, I can't do 6 a.m.
Well, it's like 7 or something our time though, 7 or 8 here. So usually I catch them.
Right. Notice Glenn said he catches them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Is Larry's like, no. He goes, I gotta go to work, but I'm not. No.
I'm still wearing my morning hair too. Okay.
See, yeah. So I've got my craziness going on here because it was a little early this morning.
Last week I was in a hat because I didn't have time to get like my morning shower and fix my hair, and the hat just had to do. But today I had a minute because I went and milked early.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, Nick said tomorrow. He's live tomorrow, so I have to get up early and watch his again. And
let's see, where are we at here? Nick says tomorrow I'll be. Hopefully, you can't know. Hopefully.
Right?
I know these things.
That's why I preset my my Mondays.
Yeah,
ahead of time.
So a little bird told me that you were going to be in the kitchen today cooking something.
I am. I actually got out freeze dry bags and things that we've been doing. We've had our freeze dryer for, oh my goodness, 5 years.
Wow,
so you're like a collection of things. So I actually went out and dust is free at my house because I do live, in a dirt road on a farm. So I'm looking at these packages going, ooh, that one is a mystery. So we're going to open some of these and I'm going to cook something with these. I have some that are labeled nice. Like this is peach sauce. So this was from our peach trees that I blended up and put on one of the trays, and the kids like to eat these as snacks. But I have other ones. Like I have no idea what that's supposed to say because I can't read my own handwriting, and it's faded.
So is it like
tomatoes?
Good morning, Miss Nancy.
So yeah, and I have no idea this one either. So like I said, the dust is free because that's what happens when you live in the middle of nowhere on a farm.
So quick question before because we brought up dust, I'm just curious now, and then we will really get to the topic here. Do you guys have a wood burning stove in your house?
We do. That's our only heat.
Do you feel like that when it's winter and you're using your stove that you have more dust?
No.
Okay, so it's just my imagination because I've never lived in the country and I've never lived with a wood burning stove. But I mean, there is like quickly, and I'm good at keeping my house picked up. I am terrible at cleaning. But I noticed that there's like quickly dust, and I'm like, we have a brand new furnace. So like, I know that it's got a new filter and all that kind of stuff. What is going on?
You know, I would say yes, but I have 4 dogs in the house and 4, 5, 8. I don't know how many children at any given point in the house.
They're all just running.
So, and we, like I said, we live on a dirt road. Our driveway is dirt. I've got dirt fields. In Arizona, we don't have the green to keep the dust down. So for us, I mean, like right now, my fields are yellow. We haven't had any storms yet. Those monsoon storms will come up sometime in July is when monsoons start. So that's when our field growing starts. So yeah, it's really, really different. So I'm so excited because I'm going to be coming out to Missouri in June.
I didn't tell you that.
So we're going to be down by Springfield for a week or so. And so we're going to try and hook up with some different families that we talked to online and that. So our best just moved to Humansville. So we're going to go out and see their homestead and all that.
I told her, I said, well, if you guys have extra time.
So Humansville's only about an hour and a half from us. So
right.
we could probably meet you guys pretty easy.
And if you want to text or email me that like week date range, I can just like pencil it on my calendar so that we can, I mean, we have kids and lives as well, but that way I can like make the best effort to be flexible so we can, you know, at a quick run meet you guys if you have time. That would be awesome. So
absolutely. So I'm actually really super excited about that because I haven't been to Missouri in like 25 years. So we are going to have a great time traveling. The kids want to go through Cadillac Ranch on the way and do all sorts. We're going to go see, you know, world's largest ball of twine and all that good stuff on the way. So that's one thing. And we're taking 3 of the kids are going with us. Our oldest son is actually staying here with his girlfriend to keep all the animals taken care of. So it's going to be exciting. So
now, are you hitting Branson while you're down in that area?
We're going to hit Branson one day and check that out. And like I said, all over. So we're going to go through
Oklahoma City is a fun one.
Yeah, no. We're excited. Our youngest daughter actually went out in October, I guess it was, for 3 weeks with our friends and was able to see a lot of the things. So Grayson was very excited to go do that. So, but yeah, we're planning that trip out. And I told her, I said, snacks are going to be provided so we don't have to stop everywhere.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You have to bring some freeze-dried bananas and stuff.
Exactly.
And do you freeze dry Skittles?
I do freeze dry Skittles, and my favorite is the Black Forest Gummy Bears.
I have a what does Sam's Club sell?
It's like a gallon bag.
Yes,
and I thought about putting it in there just so I could quit with my stink about it and go ahead and give it a try. It's just more fun to be fussy about it because I had somebody on my side, Nick's wife, so.
We'll see. No, actually, the freeze-dried gummy bears are amazing. They're like fluffy air, flavored fluffy air.
I bet.
Huh.
We love the banana.
And I don't even have any because the kids go through it so fast at my house. So we just use that as other snacks. Now, I use Black Forest. I heard a lot of people only use that one. We actually use that one because they're dye-free. I have one daughter who's anaphylaxis to red dye. So that's actually kind of how our whole journey with homesteading really started. I had one that I had to learn how to cook from scratch as a new mom.
Right.
So I had a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn who was deathly allergic to everything. So we started our whole journey with goat's milk and everything because we knew she could eat the stuff that we were growing and we were making. So the Black Forest Gummy Bears were her favorite snack growing up because it was the only thing we could find. Pardon the dog. She's wanting to be in the video, obviously. She's chasing kittens. It's our puppy.
Oh my gosh.
She's supposed to bark at them. So Grayson, can you come get your puppy, please?
So you have, at any point in time, whoever knows how many kids running through your house, and you have a puppy.
We've got 4 dogs, actually. I have Luna, who's a Catahoula pup, and she's our herder. She's actually in training right now. She is 5 months old. Are you bringing her in here? Oh, Grayson wants to bring her in here to show you.
Let's all see the puppy.
So you lift her on up because she weighs more than you do now. She's so fat. She's not either. She's just a big girl. Here.
Oh my gosh, that's a puppy.
That's a big puppy.
That's like
she'll be about 90 pounds or so when she's full grown. But she's in a lot of our videos. She's in training right now for all of our herding. We have a Great Pyrenees. He's 130 pounds or so. And he's a livestock guardian, but he's 100% deaf. So you get to go put him outside because he wants to chase kitties too. And then we've got 2 older girls that are Black Lab Aussie mixes that are retired. Now they're couch potatoes now.
They're just the lovers.
They are. So I've got one on each couch in my living room right now.
Yes, I know.
So yeah. And they
And
sleep.
somehow you find all the time to do all the things you do, and homeschool, and cook, and freeze dry, and can, and grow. And
it came down to figuring out what was the most important parts of our life.
Yep.
Because I was an online teacher for years and years as well. But my teaching schedule started at 3 a.m. So I was done with my schedule before the kids were even up and really going in the morning. Yeah. So for us, like I said, it just came down to what we made a family list when the kids were little, my husband and I, and we always wanted a parent home, whether it was working from the house or not. So we always wanted somebody there for the kids.
right.
And so now that the kids are all bigger, it makes life a little easy because they can run their own time,
Right.
like right now I'm like, guys, I've got 15 signs to get cut. So that's, 4 hours worth of work or whatever. You guys need to get this done, this done, this done, and this done for school.
Yes.
And they do. And they know as long as they get their stuff done, they've got their free time. So that's how we've kind of worked our homeschooling over the years is I give them a list, they get it done, I check it, and we go from there.
It's nice to teach them that, like, responsibility, I guess, and how to manage their time and, not have everything spoon-fed to them at a young age too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And all my kids know how to birth animals. I mean, there's been times where they, one of my kids have called from the barn and said, by the way, Mom, we have 3 baby goats born and we took care of it for you. So I'm like, yes, I don't have to do anything today. So, it started, like I said, they were little. I mean, Shelby's being the oldest, she was 4 years old when Griffin was born. And then we had babies 18 months apart and then adopted 3 that were all in between there. So wow. We had, I was that mom that had everybody on a little rope with knots going through Costco because that's what you had to do. It was like a kindergarten class, but I had 2 4-year-olds and 2 6-year-olds at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and went from there. So there's always noise though. So please forgive. There's always something going on. So right now we have 3 at home. We've got Tristan, who hopefully will be coming home soon.
We saw that video a year that you hadn't seen him.
Yeah, I saw him on December 31st Shelby and I drove down. We were told we had to get a visit in by the end of the year. So we actually went on the last day of the year because we were told like 3 days before. And it's about a 2.5 hour drive for where he's at. And then Larry got to visit with him, mid-March, just for a couple hours, but he did not have the permission to leave the facility. So Larry just got to play basketball with him there. But he's all of a sudden realized that family was important and he wants us to come visit. So he earned his trip out this weekend. So we took him shopping and got him shorts because it's, 400 degrees in Phoenix in the summertime. And then got a chance to go to an arcade with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's been a year and a week since he's been out of our house. So,
well, I'm glad to hear that he's like improving and that at least the time away has been beneficial.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, as we're talking, I'm going to go ahead and start getting things into water and getting them rehydrating. And we'll talk about all the different elements that we've got with freeze drying, because it'll take a few minutes to get these going.
With your freeze dryer, we have noticed, like with ours, trying to do like custom settings and stuff, ours seems to take a long time because we don't know how to set the custom timers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And we watched another channel on his retired at 40, and like his bananas, he said he dehydrated or freeze dried his bananas like 19 hours total. Ours like
mine are 40 hours for bananas.
Ours are like 38 to 40 hours.
Okay, I have an older machine. I do have an older machine. Okay, so basically I have my coffee cup. I turned my Keurig on, I got hot water. That's all I'm doing and then my peas are in there. So it's just steamy water. You can rehydrate anything freeze dried with cold water. It does not have to be hot.
Does it take longer with cold water?
Not really. I mean, it tastes better when you do hot because it heats up the food for you. So I do know that, but it really doesn't take that much longer.
Well, like the strawberries and stuff, like strawberries and bananas, obviously you don't want to rehydrate those with hot water.
Right.
So I just didn't know how long.
I kind of don't want to rehydrate them.
The bananas, I think, taste better not rehydrated.
See, and we eat all of our fruit dehydrated or freeze dried now. We don't.
Isn't that funny?
Anything that I put through there, I don't rehydrate any of that unless I'm making like banana pudding or something where it needs to be. But for the most part, it's all done. So you guys can see they're already starting to rehydrate.
It seems like a pretty quick process to rehydrate it.
Mm-hmm. It sure is. It sure is. So I'm gonna set those peas aside now. What's really cool is I've noticed, like when I go places now, I'm finding things like this was at Costco this week, and it's freeze dried herbs.
Now that blows my mind because maybe I'm just a little over the edge, but I know like everything has to be airtight. So like when I put myself, is that just chock full of preservatives?
And that's what I was wondering. I picked this up because I'm like, oh, this looks really good. But like you said, it just says freeze dried. Parsley, garlic, and basil. We've already obviously used the garlic because it's not in my box anymore. But it does say that. And I was always worried about that too. Hey, you know what? Where's the garlic? And we'll open it up and see if they're soft.
I watched, there's a channel called Retired at 40, and he does nothing but like freeze drying and a few offset things, but he's had some things that he freeze dried and then had it sitting out on his counter, like vegetable stock that he did. And he said it had been out on his counter for months, and he hadn't resealed the package or anything, and it hadn't rehydrated itself. So I think it does have kind of a shelf-stable life, even without being vacuum sealed for a time.
So that one's good and dry.
It was crunchy, and I used this 2 weekends ago. So this is the garlic. Now I have the worst garlic breath ever. But
did you just eat a piece of that by itself?
That's okay. We're good. I just stuck it in my mouth, but it was crunchy. But you can do anything. And I love the fact that, with the freeze dryer, you don't have to be stuck with strawberries and bananas, even though, those are great, but you can freeze dry anything. Like here, that's cheese, grated cheese.
Okay.
All I do is when I'm making food, if like, say I have a casserole, I'll just throw in the freeze dried while it's cooking.
Yes.
and it rehydrates on its own, and I don't have to worry about any of it. These were zucchinis out of my garden, and the kids eat those as chips.
See, that's what I'm excited for. Since we got our freeze dryer in the middle of winter, I've been stocking up on goat milk and eggs, that kind of stuff, because I know come August we won't have goat milk through the summer.
Yes.
So I know that will get us, I mean, not that I can't go to the store and buy milk, but that will get us hopefully through our dry time with the goats if I get like a gallon or two freeze dried each week. But
absolutely,
once our garden starts growing, I am just.
And we use the goat's milk in the freeze dryer as well, but we have it for storage because I can still use it for soaps.
Yes.
Because you can rehydrate it. We use it for baby animals that need it. And I've got powdered milk for them that I know what's in it because it's literally goat's milk. There's no
powdered milk. So
yes.
I obviously don't have a baby right now, but I keep hearing about people who are struggling to find their baby formula. And I never had a goat when I had a baby. So what if you had a baby that was on formula? Couldn't you use a powdered goat milk? I know you can do regular goat milk.
No, you sure can.
That would be a blessing to somebody.
Yes, absolutely. And so that's what makes this machine even better is we not only have our machine running all the time, but we also buy from Thrive Life. So we have cans of freeze dried in storage as well.
So you're buying freeze dried from someone else as well?
Also, yeah, to make sure, because with having 8 children, 3 of them have spouses. My parents live next door. There's 22 of us in my family with my sister and kids and their significant other. So we have a gathering of people. My fear is with this, everything going on in the world is we're going to have a food shortage.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that all my kids are provided for.
Isn't that funny? Just because they move out, they don't mean they're not at your table anymore.
Absolutely. And, Shelby lives 10 miles as the crow flies. Her and her husband, and Griffin lives with them. Griffin and his girlfriend live with them.
Oh, so my gosh.
4 right there. And then Elwyn is the other direction, 15 miles with her boyfriend.
What a mess that they're so
close. We're all here. And then the only one that's missing, like I said, is Tristan. But it's okay because we can always go grab him if we have to.
Say that's temporary. It's not like he chose to grow up and move away.
Exactly. So there's so many different things you can do. Like, okay, here's another one. See what this is?
Like a taquito?
It's actually lunch meat, rolled lunch meat. Huh. I'm gonna throw this on a plate and get this one rehydrating too.
Yeah, I have. I guess the options are endless. I've never even considered lunch meat, but I've been kind of thinking too, like, while our garden isn't producing yet, what a good time to like keep an eye on sales if there are any sales right now, but any kind of sales and just stock up. Like bananas are easy because they're always cheap, but obviously eggs and milk we've went crazy with, but
let me grab my eggs for you. Hold on just a second.
I didn't think about lunch meat.
Good morning, everybody who's in here. We haven't forgotten about you, chit-chatting. I saw Tina Ladybug come in and Steven over at Boots and Bounty. I did kind of try to type it in there, good morning, but I do like to say hi to everybody. Jesse, thank you for throwing up everybody's links. So what is that?
That's your eggs?
These are eggs. These are my eggs for the season. So what I do is I put them through the blender. 18 eggs fit on one medium-sized freeze-dried tray. I have the medium. So I have 4 of these trays.
Now, are your cooked eggs or raw eggs?
Those are raw.
Okay, that's what we do too.
So it's 2 tablespoons of the egg powder to 2 tablespoons of water is 1 egg. So this is just last season's eggs that were left over that I didn't sell or use myself. Jennifer wants to know if we're giving one away. I wish I had the funds for that.
Spring Meadow Farm and Garden says she has a giveaway on her channel if anyone's interested. So Jennifer asked if she was giving away a freeze dryer.
That's funny. Gotcha. So that's 1 egg. Glenn, how many eggs did you say?
Our freeze dryer, we can do about 80 eggs at a time. But we have the medium freeze dryer. We don't
You
have
probably got the large one, don't you?
No, I actually have the medium because when I bought my freeze dryer, the large one was a different type of outlet plug. And I didn't want to deal with an electrician coming in.
Right.
At that point, I just wanted to plug in and go.
Yeah.
Which is what I did. So we've got a big red one, or the medium-sized red one. I don't even know if they make that one anymore, but that's what we ended up with. Here's another one that's really fun that you wouldn't think of. That's eggnog.
Eggnog.
My thing is if the world goes to crap, I want the things that I love available to me.
And I think that's a big deal. It's not just freeze drying crap to have it stocked up. Freeze dry what your family enjoys, what you're eating.
Exactly. And I'm an eggnog snob. At Christmas time, I write eggnog. I write my name across my eggnog, and I'm like, "Don't touch it, everybody. This is Mom's." But this is eggnog, and I can put in a couple spoonfuls into a glass of milk if I wanted to, and make eggnog out of it. But this is eggnog powder.
How's that lunch meat coming? I'm anxious for that. That is.
It's starting to unroll. It is. So it's still now. Take it. This was 4.5 years old on the date on here. So it will take a little bit longer than the stuff that I just freeze dried.
Okay.
As it gets older, it does take a little bit longer to rehydrate, but it is starting to do its thing here.
I think that was the big push for us to get a freeze dryer. Was obviously it is a much larger expense than if you were just canning. But I mean, you're talking when you can something at maximum a few years, compared to 20 to 25 years. Like the things I'm freeze drying today, my grandkids could be eating. Yeah.
No, and they sure could. Now, one thing, you can find these, and I have a bunch of these as well. This is Wise Company freeze-dried meals. These are backpacking meals.
Yeah.
And you can get these. Trust me, they're okay. My problem is what they put in them. So I know that when I make chili mac, there's not going to be the extra salt. There's not going to be any preservative. It's my homemade food.
Right.
Do I keep these on hand? This is cheesy lasagna. Absolutely.
Right.
I keep these on hand. For when the kids are out hiking and want something.
They're rather expensive too, though, compared to what you. And like the thing that I like about the freeze dryer being in our home, like for instance, I made a huge thing, like 2 lasagnas a couple weeks ago or a week ago or whatever. And we ate through one, but I had an extra. So rather than freezing it and only having so much time to get to it, I am freeze drying it. So it's nice to use your own leftovers.
French toast.
This is peach sauce.
Okay, what is peach sauce? I've never
Like
heard of
applesauce. Just like applesauce, we have a bunch of peach trees and apple trees here. So that's all this is. And I'm going to stick this in a container too. And we'll
You had me at chili mac because favorite mountain house meal for when we go elk hunting is the chili mac.
Right. And there's a lot of different companies out there. What we did, because Berlin has autism, his palate is a little bit different. Have you made freeze-dried potatoes yet? Yes. Yes, I sure have. I love freeze-dried potatoes. I actually, I do do a quick boil on them before I throw them in the machine. So I do have that.
those like mashed potatoes.
Do you do mashed or whole?
Everything, shredded, mashed, whole, everything.
So you have your freeze dryer going all the time. That's my. There have been a few days where I didn't, but our goal is it's pretty well running nonstop.
Yeah, right now my freeze dryer is down because last week I couldn't get a seal, so I've got to take it all apart, make sure everything's cleaned real good, and put it all back together again. So my trays are all in the freezer right now. I've been crazy busy, so I haven't got back to do it. But yes, we run it all the time.
How did you know it wasn't getting a good seal?
It wouldn't register the vacuum.
It'll tell you.
It told me. Yeah, it told me.
They seem fairly darn smart, but I just.
Yeah, so I'm just putting just a little bit of water in that. Okay. And it looks kind of cold right now.
Just eat it like applesauce? Do you put it on things?
You can use it on like French toast. You can use it like a syrup. Yeah. The kids actually eat it straight a lot of times.
I don't know. We don't have a peach tree producing. I think we have a nectarine.
Jerusha, I'm glad you said that because I need to contact Harvest because I did order some extra oil and stuff. I ordered a 2-pack of oil for Harvest Right, and they only sent me one of my 2-pack with my trays.
Mm-hmm.
I got to contact.
You have to get on them sometimes. What is this one? We're gonna open. This is like mystery. I can't read this one, so we're gonna
See. I need to get more of those. A good stock of those. What are they? Mylar bags.
Mylar bags. Oh, these are bell peppers. These are bell peppers
From your garden.
from my garden.
We were going to. Have you done like diced tomatoes and stuff like that instead of canning them? Have you tried dicing the tomatoes?
I actually prefer them diced.
That's what I was planning on doing because it's easier and they last longer.
Do they stay diced rather than a powder?
They do. Here, this is actually tomato.
You're gonna have to invite everybody over just to feed them all these packages you're opening up.
Yeah, I'm just gonna cook a meal with it tonight for dinner.
A lemon.
These are tomatoes.
Oh,
These are yellow tomatoes.
You can just do slices. Oh, I like that.
So what I do a lot of times, like I will use the bell peppers and onions that I've done, and the tomatoes, and throw those into a pot along with some chicken and make fajitas out of it.
Yes.
And I don't have to worry about it. Now, to reconstitute a tomato, I would not reconstitute and eat this on a sandwich. It is mushy and gross when it's straight out. And I will tell you, there are some foods that you're like, yeah, that didn't work. But it's cooked in soups and stews and fajitas and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So
Casserole type stuff. I'm
still unrolling here the lunch meat. So it's still, but you can see it's starting to get really soft. This is turkey. I can tell you what it is right now. I just had lunch meat written on it. I didn't have, but this is turkey.
So note to self, write down exactly what's in the package because you'll forget 5 years later what it was.
Exactly. Especially me. And make sure you're using a permanent marker because apparently I wasn't. It happens. So
I'm not watching you cook fish and chips live and not be able to eat it.
Right? So but I do have, here's chicken. Harris chicken that we did. And I can hear, it's crunchy in there.
No,
this is from 2019.
Oh my gosh.
This is cooked
I'm a little bummed about. I wish I would have stocked up on it before it went sky high so I could have freeze dried a bunch of it.
And that's what we do. I will get out my big cooker, my big roaster oven, and do 40 pounds of chicken in one day.
Wow.
And I'll start putting that through the freeze dryer, and it takes a couple days, but we'll slice it up. It's sliced chicken, you guys.
Okay.
So this would be, we're having fajitas tonight, obviously, for dinner. So let me get another plate here.
Now, do you make habit of freeze drying everything individually? Because I've seen some people that will do like basically a meal in a jar.
I do both. Like for Larry's lunches, especially in the wintertime, I will freeze dry every leftover we have coming out of the refrigerator.
Sure.
So he has potato soup. He has, we make our own ramen. So I've got shrimp in there, and I would put together a jar like this with the noodles and everything. And I'll have it all in there for him. And he just adds hot water at work. So
that's nice.
And then he brings me in a jar.
Just because, I don't know, sometimes, you get busy and it's nice just to pull something out and not have the
morning,
pieces.
old ways gardening and prepping.
So I'm actually gonna take a bite and see. They still need a few more minutes. They're crunchy on the inside still, but they're soft on the outside. So these have been
the zucchini chips. Fantastic.
Mm-hmm. So that's 5 years for this store going.
5 years. And everything seems to taste just as fresh as the day that you freeze dried for the most part, right?
Those were actually frozen peas that we got in bulk somewhere. And so that's what I watch for the bulk deals. We have a follow here in the area that gets big bulk food. A lot of it's out of date food. So we'll try it fresh, make sure that it still tastes okay.
Right.
As long as it's still good, then we throw it through the freeze dryer.
Genius.
So I think those were 20-pound bags of peas that we got from them because they're a restaurant supply store. So they have different items. So we did that. We've got lobster bisque soup we got from them that we put through that we can just add water to and stir it up.
The options are just endless.
Okay, so this chicken is already soft.
That's so nice to just have that ready to throw in this right in the skillet.
So
So Jerusha asks over at Gossmania, she says, have you ever used the peach sauce in place of applesauce, like to replace an oil in a cooking?
Absolutely. It tastes a little bit different, but it does work. So there's the peach sauce.
That's awesome. I bet that would be really tasty over some ice cream too. Do you freeze dry your ice cream? Glenn is an ice cream fanatic, and he thinks we need some ice cream in the freeze dryer ASAP.
My favorite freeze dry ice cream is actually the ice cream sandwiches.
I've seen some of that.
And you can either cut them up into little pieces, which is what the kids prefer because then they have little bite size, or I just will slice the bags because they're all individually wrapped. I will slice the paper or the bags and put them right on my trays and lay them across the trays. And then those, and I have a whole storage of those as well.
Now, do you use them or do you eat them?
I have some in storage that have "Don't touch" written on them, and the kids tend to just eat them right out of the machine. Now you can buy smaller trays on Amazon. You do not have to stick with these big trays. So what I do is I pick up this size, which fits right.
Absolutely. You just have
and I can make individual meals this way. So we've got 8 of these. We also have dividers that fit into the big trays and a lot of things like that so that I can make the individual items.
Now those dividers, do you get those on Amazon also?
No, there's a company and I will find the link for you guys so you can post it.
FreezeDryerAccessories.com or something like that is the one that I don't know if the Retired at 40 guy owns it, reps it, just uses it. I don't know, but I heard that website.
Perfect. Here's my lunch meat. Here's my lunch meat.
Now, would you put that on a sandwich and it's just like fresh? I would have to have it cold first. I'd have to put it.
It's actually cold because I had it laid on a plate instead of in a hot, like submerged in hot water. I had it laying on a plate.
Okay.
And I can still feel a few spots in it that are not quite there. So I'm going to let that back in the water, but it's fully hydrated. I can, so the chicken went right away.
See, I could eat it without a problem, but I like cold foods and stuff too, like fried chicken cold, and Jessica won't touch it.
No, absolutely not. I am very particular. If it's supposed to be cold, I want it cold. If it's supposed to be warm, I want to eat it warm. No,
so the ice cream may not work for you, Jessica.
Huh?
The ice cream may not work for you.
I could deal with something like that. I'm talking about like meat, and I know everyone go ahead and just hate on me now. Pizza.
This is June of 2018. These are strawberries.
Pizza is awesome. That's my breakfast pizza.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the pizzas are amazing. All right.
Could you freeze dry? Do you freeze dry pizza?
I do. They're actually really fun snacks. We slice them up so that they're little squares.
Okay.
And throw them in. And I actually have a story to tell you. My son Brecken, who passed away, we had researched this freeze dryer for years and years. And he went with me to a preppers group and said, Mom, they've got some freeze dry pizza. Can I have some? And I said, absolutely, buddy. Go up and, take a couple pieces. Well, come to find out, he ate an entire large pizza and I had no idea. And he came back and he sat with me and he was just eating. And he goes, Mom, I don't feel very good. And I said, just go drink some water. You'll be fine. Well, little did I know he ate a large pizza. So then it reconstituted. And he was like, I really don't feel good, Mom. We didn't realize. And so that's like our little funny story.
That is funny. I didn't think about that's going to kind of puff up in your belly. Strawberries.
Yeah, strawberries. And they're completely
gardening and prepping says, good to see someone actually using their freeze dryer correctly and not snack crap. That's kind of my big push is I'm like, if I'm freeze drying stuff, I want it to be useful if I can't buy something at the store. So that was why I was all fussy about the Skittles and stuff. Obviously, I have a stock of like necessities. I'll throw some snacks in there, but I mean, gosh, when you can throw your leftovers in there, you can throw your garden veggies, your fresh fruit, all that stuff. It's wonderful. Make your whole dinner out of it.
Here's that tomato. Now, that's why I told you, you don't want to reconstitute it for a sandwich, but it's absolutely the best for fajitas.
Absolutely. And soups and stuff.
Same with that bell pepper.
So, it's funny. My mom makes my
There's
stepdad.
a kitten that smells the meat up here.
Uh-oh.
He's like, hey, there's chicken on the counter.
My mom does those darn instant potatoes all the time, and I've given them such a hard time. Like, why don't you just make your own potatoes? Who knows what's in it? I'm pretty sure they're probably freeze-dried.
They are. They are. So you can make your own and make her little baggies of potatoes that are individually
Oh my
done.
God.
Another thing that we do as a family is I will pre-cook everything. So beans, for instance, I'll put those. Let me grab this kitten before he
jumped in there.
Oh my gosh.
He was trying to climb on the computer. He likes to sit where it's warm. I will pre-cook beans in the pressure cooker and then throw those through the freeze dryer. Now, somebody asked me one day, well, doesn't that take away the whole point of doing it? And I said, but now I have 2 minutes in hot water and I can add it to a taco.
Well, and it's only good for so long on the shelf dry.
Exactly. So we do that with pasta as well, so that I can make meals for the kids to do a quick grab.
Did you say pasta?
Pasta.
Okay, because I've heard
it takes 10 minutes to cook pasta in boiling water. So we will boil pasta so that I can make chili mac, for instance, in a bag.
That's what
And
I'm
all
talking
you do is
about.
add that hot water for a minute or so, and it reconstitutes the whole thing for you.
genius.
Yep, chili
So-
mac and the chicken fried rice. That's where it's at.
So would you say if you're gonna freeze dry your pasta, you probably want it to be more of that, like, what do they call it, al dente, rather than like really, because it's gonna be kind of soggy soft.
Yes.
If it's
Yeah,
over.
you want to cook it al dente so it's still got that little bit of a center crunch, if you want to call it that, where it's not all the way cooked.
Right.
But yes. And we do it by the pot and then throw it in. And so what I do is I will have jars, and I put together the jars are the stuff that the kids are allowed to eat. This is the rule in our house. If they're Mylar bags, those are off limits. So we do that for a reason. So that way, all my Mylar bags are the stuff that I have in storage. I have big totes that are all labeled meals, fruits, veggies, dairy, and they're stacked. The stuff that we eat the most is in small totes, that like strawberries, for instance.
Right.
I have 16 bags of strawberries that the kids can go out and grab if we're going on a long road trip or something. But otherwise, we try and keep the jars of the stuff, and I have a shelf in my house that is all the jarred food. So they can go in there and just grab something out of there if they need it. And this is the stuff that I will cook with if I'm low in my refrigerator. So the cheese, for instance, I'll use that if I need to.
Now, is that cheese that you're grating off the block, or is it cheese that you've bought already grated in a bag?
No, we actually have a KitchenAid with a cheese grater, a slicer, everything, a meat grinder. So we do everything from start to finish.
I need to look into that.
You can do the cheese grated like out of the bags if you want, but there are preservatives on that, and it actually reconstitute a little bit different than the stuff that you get.
And anti-caking agents and stuff like that.
All right, you guys. So I have fajitas. I can throw all this in a pan. I have fajitas right there, totally ready to go. My lunch meat, we still have a little bit right on the very end. That was the curve on the inside. But that I can use on a sandwich today. Berlin's going to be having this for breakfast, apparently. This one's the best one. Okay. You see that?
Yeah.
Broccoli soup makes amazing with freeze-dried broccoli. So I do a jar of broccoli. As you can see, I only have half a jar here, which means somebody used it for something. But we'll put a whole jar of this in. I'll put this much in milk in, and then freeze-dried cheese, and then season it up how I want and just let it cook down. And I've got broccoli soup.
So Chuck says, can you freeze dry garlic, cloves, and crush them into powder? I would say yes.
Absolutely. But just know, like we were talking about, the humidity in the air will actually suck into a lot of these items. So it can go soft. Where I live, we have like 0% humidity. So for us, it's a lot easier to get things bagged up and ready. So that's the one thing you do have to watch is.
So if I took a whole clove of garlic, removed all of the outer skin stuff, whatever you want to call it, and freeze dried it, and then once it came out, threw it through my blender and have garlic powder, and then take the air out of the jar and you're set.
Because I'm out of garlic from my garden, we pick up bags like this, and I will bake these and make them squishy soft. And we do the garlic paste as well.
Oh my gosh.
Freeze dryer.
You know everything. You were exactly the person we needed.
So yeah, there's just a lot of things you can do.
Garlic.
Did you come in for strawberries?
Nonstop. So
I came in for my daughter Rowan's like, oh, you have strawberries on the counter. She just ran off with a bag of strawberries, so they're gone. But I like the fact that we've kind of transformed what the kids eat into things that we can control a little bit better. Now I still either buy or make granola bars or, that kind of thing for them.
Sure.
But we tend to have a lot more of, if you want to call it, the fresh freeze-dried fruits that they can just grab a bag. So we'll buy the little snack size. I don't even think I have any left. They're about half the size of this.
Okay.
And they have a zipper top. And we will buy those just for kids' snacks. So if I know I'm doing a batch of strawberries, I will do 2 trays of strawberries. The first one will go into storage. The second one will go into our snack bags. And the kids can grab them. We just label them strawberries. And those go really fast at our house.
So you don't have to worry about sucking the air out of those.
Exactly. And we don't. I mean, it's pretty quick. So
you put an oxygen absorber or anything.
Kids will just eat it.
Right.
What was that? Yeah?
Put an oxygen absorber or anything.
Not in the kids' snack bags. Where you saw, I had one come out that had an that was the peach sauce.
Where are you ordering your Mylar bags?
I actually get them in bulk on Amazon.
Okay.
Because they were half the price of Harvest Right.
So Danny asks if you cook the broccoli and then freeze dry it.
No,
just
can. That's the best part about freeze drying is there's like no limits. You can't do honey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend bacon. There's too much fat in it. We tried it once. I know that's like my one thing. There's too much fat in it. It actually goes rancid after about 6 months.
Okay.
I've tried multiple times to figure out how to do it. So anything with a lot of oil or a lot of grease, the freeze dry. Thank you, Chuck. But you can do cooked or you can do raw, and that's the best part. Now I do blanch everything. All my vegetables going in, I do blanch them. So it's just a real quick in boiling water, and then onto my trays, and then we throw them into the freezer and let them freeze down.
So Spring Meadow Farm and Garden asks how long you had your freeze dryer. Did you say 5 years?
5, yeah, just over 5 years.
Yeah, you definitely nailed it. I've done eggs, milk, bananas, strawberries, and I think that's it.
And I will tell you, even
a chicken broth the other day, but it sucked out tons.
You made bouillon, is what you did. You made bouillon powder with your chicken broth. Because
it got like 2 inches of powder in the bottom of a quart-sized jar, whereas like if we do goat's milk, we'll get almost out of a gallon, but not chicken broth.
It was store-bought chicken broth, so I'm wondering if I make my own chicken broth, like if it would be
still mostly water. So you have to think about the water content of the item that you're using.
Okay.
So my cooked chicken is going to fill a full jar versus the juice off of it is only going to be scrapings.
But are you keeping your juice, just like straining it and?
My dogs eat a lot of our extra because they get dog food, but we try and feed them a lot of raw. So they get a lot of the extra stuff. So they get, quail and that. And I actually went to go grab quail and my bin is empty outside. So we're out of freeze-dried and freezer quail right now. So I was going to show you guys what it looks like because we raised so many of them. But yeah, we've already eaten through our entire supply. So I think I've upped my game this summer a little bit.
I get busy on that. I say that's the only downfall to the freeze dryer is how long it takes to run one cycle through. You're talking in a week's time, you'll probably get maybe 5 cycles through once you do your defrost and that kind of stuff.
Yes. But know this, you are still providing your regular meals for your family.
Yeah.
And then you're freeze drying, whether it's your leftovers or additional items. So at this point, at 5 years, we've made 2 years worth of extra food.
It's a hands-off progress for sure.
It is. Once you figure out how things work, it's easy. And you just load and go.
So freeze-dried blackberries, Jerusha over at Gossmania asks, have you tried that? Have you had issues with the seeds?
I have not had issues with the seeds. We actually, hang on, do I have some?
She got it. So we have blackberries on our property, and last year I tried to take full advantage of them and made some cobbler and stuff like that. But now I know that I'm not gonna let almost anything go to waste this year.
So on that chicken broth that we did do, since it sucked all that water out and there's only that much, do you just add that much water back to that little bit of broth and it's the same?
You sure do. You add, so a lot of times in the beginning when I was doing things, I would write down how much things weighed. A lot of people do that. So they know that when they reconstitute it, they know how much water they have to add back on with a scale. I'm to that point now where I'm like, whatever, it'll reconstitute because I've had it for so long. But yes, you can go ahead and get a kitchen scale and weigh your trays with your food on it, and then weigh your trays when they come out so you know how much water can go back in.
Good to know. Now, I said that was a gallon.
Yeah. So you just, but some foods are different depending on how, like the chicken will have less water because it's a larger item versus the potatoes that let's say you did mashed potatoes. I just add, and I actually add milk back to my mashed potatoes. I don't even do it with water.
So if you're going to do the weight, you want to weigh your tray first. So, and then, and zero it out, put your food on it, pre-dried, and then
actually weigh it on the tray with the tray weight too. So when it comes back out of my freeze dryer, I just subtract the difference.
Okay.
So you know exactly what the water content is.
That's how much weight of water you'd put in there. Okay. I should probably start doing that. I haven't done that the eggs are a pretty easy constitute, and I think the milk, it's just equal amounts, powder and water, right? But
it sure is.
The fancier stuff like you're doing, I probably should do that.
Well, and like I said, you don't have to worry about certain, like we've done lasagna. I've cut squares of lasagna. I put it on my tray. My husband looked at me and goes, how the heck are you going to reconstitute lasagna? Because it would go mushy if you dropped it into water.
Right.
I wrap it in a wet paper towel in my refrigerator and let it sit overnight.
And that's it.
So you just learn the tips and tricks of what the different foods need. So like I said, I don't even reconstitute cheese. I throw it in whatever we're working on and it reconstitutes with whatever steam or cooking that we've done. So
I'm writing this wet paper towel trick down because lasagna is freezing right now to go in the freeze dryer.
Perfect. So like here's the zucchini.
The Old Ways Prepping and Gardening says, would you do cream for coffee? You can do cream for coffee?
I don't. Cream tastes rancid to me. When it comes out. Cream and sour cream both taste rancid.
So, but you can actually freeze dry just your coffee.
You can freeze dry just the coffee, and I suppose you could do the cream, but for me the flavoring didn't work. It came back out, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's not. But we use goat cream versus cow cream, so I don't know. I wouldn't use creamer. The processed creamer would not work for certain. Because fat.
Where they did like a Starbucks coffee.
It was the Retired at 40. He did a Starbucks coffee, McDonald's McCafe, and Dunkin' Donuts. But it had all the cream and sugar and all that in it. And when he freeze dried them, when he was done, he added the water back to them and everything, and said they tasted just exactly like they would have the day he bought them. So I don't know.
And I'm sure that would work. I don't buy coffee from locations. I have my own that I do make. But I suppose you could. I personally don't because I get my cream right off fresh from my goats.
See, we just do goat milk as our creamer. So technically, if I freeze dry my coffee, I've already got my freeze dried goat milk. So I just mix the two and be good.
I get crumblies everywhere because I'm eating what I'm doing.
Could you use like a veggie dip on those? Are they crunchy like a chip?
Yeah. I'm sitting here eating zucchini. Yes. You sure can. And we do carrots the same way where the kids eat carrot chips. So I actually do cook the carrots to do the carrot chips because they taste better cooked.
Okay.
But we'll do like I just picked up this last night. It's a garlic dill dip mix.
Oh,
the kids will use. This just mixes with sour cream and it was just something off the wall that I found at a mom and pop grocery store. So you can do the ranch dip or the French onion dip and make that. Now we make a lot of our mixes too. I actually have a cookbook. They're supposed to be here next week. I ordered a case of cookbooks, so I will send one off to you, Jessica, too.
Yeah.
That is all different dip mixes and things that we make from scratch.
Wow. So, I strive to be like you one day, Kris.
It's taken a long time to get here, so you'll get there. I promise. Larry and I are hitting our 25th wedding anniversary here in September, so he's put up with this for a long time. So, yeah, any of this kind of stuff, you guys, it's super duper easy. So you can make it mixed together, pre-mixed, or you can do individual items.
That's fantastic.
This one is so well sealed. I can't even get this one open. Oh, there it goes. That one is really well sealed. But so the broccoli, so it looks,
wow.
Just looks just like broccoli.
Just like broccoli.
What's amazing to me is it didn't powder up. It kept all those little pieces.
Well, and some of it did. You can see at the very bottom, but yeah, it's got the chunks still in there.
Now, would that be good, tossed on your salad? Nice and crunchy.
Yeah, you sure could. You sure could. And it just reconstitutes in my mouth. So it's soft and squishy now in my mouth.
I think that would get me to eat a lot more vegetables that I don't eat as often.
All right.
That's great.
So there's our lunch meat. Now it's in cold water. It's completely pliable.
There it is. That's mind-blowing.
So what I would do for this particular thing, I would just take a paper towel and lay it on a paper towel for a few minutes and let it just soak any excess water up and then put it right on a sandwich.
That's crazy. I never even thought about lunch meat. I'm glad you brought that out today because I didn't.
Yeah, I store them curled. Let me get a jar that's got them full.
Danny, we'll see you later. Hey, Homestead, where you are. Up in here.
Jesse's waiting on Skittles. Hey, somebody said way back up in the comments about how people will freeze dry candy for fairs and festivals and sell it, and that they had bought their own freeze dryer with that. That is so crazy. I would have thought that was a tuxedo.
See, in Arizona, you can't. Cottage law won't let us. We have really with selling homemade foods here. But so that's how I store my lunch meat.
Wow.
So it does have some broken pieces in there, but I just rolled them up and put them on the freeze dried tray rolled, and they fit perfect in my jar. And I do this because one jar of this is one meal for my crew.
Right.
So I make it easier for them to be able to grab. Here's another one. Here's those are mini cherry tomatoes, the yellow pear tomatoes.
Now, do you put those in soups? What do you use that for mostly?
A lot of times it's just eaten straight, but yeah, we put them in soups a lot.
Now those are halved, it looks like, right?
I did have, and you do have to have grapes as well. And you have to poke holes in cranberries and blueberries or they will explode.
How do you poke holes in cranberries and blueberries?
Just like a fork?
Just your fork.
Yeah,
and they have tools. You can get tools that have pointies on them and you roll across. But to me, I was like, I'm not going to spend the money on a tool when a fork does the same thing. But yeah, I will have things like grapes are the same way. You have to cut them in half, and those are like eating candy. I'm telling you. Grapes don't last in my house either. They go really fast.
So Gossmania asks, what are the foods you'd rather not freeze dry in vacuum sealing jars? Are there foods that do better to save in bags versus jars?
There's no difference between the bags and the jars because as you can see, I even have there's an oxygen absorber.
The benefit of the bags is going to be
they're lightweight,
and they're not going to take up as much room in storage. So like you said, you put your bags in your tote. That's like your
yeah, this is my don't touch, kids. This is just in case of an emergency. But I have a glass front shelf that has all my jars lined up. So Jesse wants Skittles. I have to, Jesse, I'm going to get my seal refixed on my freeze dryer today, and I will make you some Skittles, my friend. Because they are tasty. Then they explode. It's really kind of cool. So anything with high sugar, just know you're going to have expansion. Okay. So, and it'll foam. I don't think I have anything out here that foamed. That peach sauce could have, because it's natural sugar. I don't see anything else that's real. Like, so the gummy bears will go from a gummy bear this size to a gummy bear this size.
Oh, so do you leave some room?
We do. Yeah, we just line them up on the trays. Okay. So they aren't one solid when they come out. But you know, like I said, it's learning the tips and tricks. So I would goat milk. If I feed my goats a lot of sweet feed before I milk, the milk expands. I have learned that.
Really?
We leave ours on alfalfa most of the time, but my girls do get sweet feed while I'm milking. But if they get excess for some reason, let's say the kids go out and go, oh, here's a half a bag of sweet feed, girls, we love you. Their milk will actually expand more and it'll foam up. You have to really watch and make sure it's really frozen for the milk to put in before, so you don't have this disaster to clean up after.
Yeah, I've done both with our goat milk. I've put it in fresh and I will like cold from the refrigerator. And then I've also froze. So when we first got our freeze dryer, I only had one set of trays. So I had to wait while it would freeze and then all that kind of stuff. But now I have two sets. So like I have one in the freeze dryer and then one freezing. And I haven't had any issue. I, in the beginning, was leaving more room at the top just in case. And now I know I'm fine. But we don't do sweet feed. So I don't know if that's maybe why ours isn't. Ours just has whole grain oats, wheat, and barley. So they don't have any sweet anything in there.
And ours has molasses on our sweet feed that we buy.
Okay,
so, and that does change the flavor of the milk. It makes the milk sweeter too. So I was like, I bet that's probably it. But I have noticed that when we do that, it does expand.
Makes sense.
It totally, we so could do a video on exploding fruit.
I was gonna say that'd be fun. Except
if you go
or you'd be cleaning your freeze dryer up a lot.
Well, if Stephen really wants to see exploding fruit, there is a homeschool project that we did that's videoed on our thing that we exploded a watermelon with rubber bands. If he really wants to watch exploding fruit. So we did that outside.
Gossmania asked where you get your lunch meat from earlier.
Mine.
Golfers are one that's better than the other.
Or like the fresh deli cut.
It's just fresh deli cut. I just go into the deli when it's on sale. And have them cut whatever the kids will eat. And that's, I emphasize this with my garden as well. We don't grow anything that we won't eat ourselves. Just like I won't freeze dry anything that we won't eat. So for instance, I have one child who likes shrimp. I have one jar of shrimp in there. That is it.
Freeze dry your shrimp.
Freeze dry your shrimp. You want to see okay, hold on. I'm telling you, there's so many things you can do.
All three, no, excuse me. Two of our boys, our third one doesn't eat like anything except for, I better freeze dry him peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I ought to freeze dry him chicken nuggets. I bet you they'd be fine if I reconstituted them and then put them in the air fryer. But our two devour shrimp. Yes, bags are definitely better if you have to bug out because they're lightweight. When Glenn goes on any of his elk hunting trips, that's what they're putting in their bags is freeze-dried meals. Now, I guess the question for me is on this kind of stuff is like, how do you reconstitute that? Do you just go ahead and put like some butter in a pan and put it in there and that moisture does it? Or
I'll soak it in water first for the shrimp. We actually put this in our homemade our soups.
Okay.
So like our ramen, we'll make a ramen soup.
Okay.
And add a quarter of a cup of shrimp into it, along with green onions and other things that just get reconstituted.
Right.
So, but like here's ground pork. It's already cooked. So I could just throw that into a casserole and it'll soak up.
Have you done chicken nuggets?
I have not. My kids never got, I'm a mean mom. I'm a horrible mean mom. There's no chicken nuggets in my house. There never has been.
That's a staple in our house because our 6-year-old like lives off. He just like a handful of things he'll eat.
Chicken nuggets and peanut butter and jelly, and that's pretty much his diet.
That's the story of his life.
It's
Those peas are done.
a little frustrating.
So
Wow. Good, I'm good.
now, I have noticed though, the older that food are, the color changes more.
Okay. So does this get like lighter in color, you think?
Yeah, it just loses its color a little bit. Those are perfectly squishy all the way through.
Yeah, freeze-drying-supplies.com. That's the one that I had found. Tubs of bags are easier to carry than no doubt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, foot or moving some way.
Well, and like I said, in our house, if it's in a jar, the kids can eat it. The jar is the stuff that is our current food. If let's say I was out of cheese, I would go grab a jar of cheese. If it's in a Mylar bag, it's off limits, except for the snack bags.
I ought to probably stock up on bag stuff. Honestly, like we've only had our freeze dryer for maybe a month. I don't know, not too long. So my main push was to get the milk, the eggs, like the stuff that I had an abundance of currently taken care of.
Target still thinks he wants some of this chicken that I've got on the. He keeps coming up here. He's like, "Hey, chicken, you want chicken?
Oh my goodness,
you want chicken? Don't mind if I do have chicken." Declaw.
To freeze dry strawberries because we pick more than we can eat in the summer. That's what I'm thinking. Like I love so much is I hate wasted food because I know that although there are times that we have an abundance of food, there's families that don't. And I'm like, man, here we are just pitching it because it went bad or things out of the garden that we didn't get preserved quick enough. I love the option. I can't say ability because I haven't got there yet to freeze dry the garden stuff. And
that's what a lot of this stuff is. These tomatoes that was my last pick of the season off of one of my big tomatoes before the freeze came. The ground pork is actually from our own pigs.
Right. That's nice.
The eggs, obviously. The peach sauce was from our peach trees. My parents have an orchard of 50 fruit trees on their half of the property. So the blackberries are off of theirs.
We've got 14 fruit trees, but only 5 of them are producing right now. We just planted the other 9. So
they'll get there. And then next year, this time you'll be overabundance of things.
Lord willing, they'll be fruit producers also.
Exactly. Then the thing with my kids, it's like I have a microwave. It does not work. They're like, "Mom, when are you going to replace it?" And I said, "You've got real food. We don't need to microwave it." So we do, they got very mad at me when we first started doing this because they didn't want to have to cook things. They wanted just to nuke things and be done. So bye, Steven. But now they just grab the chips that we make, and you can make potato chips too the same way. If you cook your potatoes and slice them, throw them through the freeze dryer, they can eat those straight.
I like that idea a lot because like the veggie straws and veggie chips, we like that. And so that would be, I wonder if you could like go ahead and season them in like a ranch because we like the ranch ones. If you could season them in the ranch seasoning and you could put
you can do any of this kind of stuff on it.
You could do like beets and zucchini and carrots. You could just really go to town.
Yeah, you sure can.
Kale, do you freeze dry that stuff?
Say it again.
Greens like spinach, kale, lettuce, that kind of stuff.
I do. I throw my spinach in the freeze dryer just as I'm picking what I have left over. And then I throw those in soups later.
Okay.
Grayson, look up on the top and see if there's spinach in the bag.
Like your spinach and kale, though, you're probably not going to reconstitute that and eat it as a salad.
No, you can't. You can't. That's one of those like the tomato, how it gets really squishy.
Mm-hmm.
You could blend it up as a powder though and have greens.
You sure can. You sure can.
Do you have to do like a single layer of spinach, or can you kind of pile a few layers on?
There's spinach.
Okay.
Let's open it. Let's open it.
You open it and you have to use it. Don't waste it.
We're good. I'm just going to plan out my meals for the rest of the week off of the things that we've opened. This is from 2018.
Oh my God.
So how would you eat that? What would you do with it?
It's crunchy.
Just like
I wondered if it was going to be crunchy.
It is crunchy. I'll throw this in a soup. We'll make a soup of some sort.
Okay.
Did I just see a child hand eat that?
Yeah, that was a child.
You just ate it like a chip.
She just ate it like a chip. Yeah.
Anything's good crunchy.
Reached in and grabbed it. Well, and that's, like I said, Rowan came in and stole the bag of strawberries. So I lost
it.
The 14-year-old came in. Grayson's, she's getting ready to turn 12. So yeah, they don't know any different. That's the other thing. They don't know any different when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, these, I mean, there's some whole pieces, there's some crushed, and they're only crushed because they're in a bag.
Now, when you put them on your trays, did you just kind of make like a thin layer, or did you have to like?
Oh no, I pile my trays. My machine takes longer, but I pile.
So what? I'd rather it take longer than have to run it 2 or 3 times. That's genius. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, that's all. Like I said, super easy things. Grayson said she found another mystery bag over there in the cabinet, though. So I figured out what that is. Oh, did you find the strawberries? Did you steal them back?
Extra parts. Like what extra parts?
Like with Kris's freeze dryer, her seal just went out. So it's probably a good thing to have extra seals on hand and things like that for when it does fail.
And mine may be a speck of dust. That could be the only thing that's causing that seal to knot. So I'm just going to take it all apart, vacuum my whole inside. Oh, the cat just jumped up to steal more chicken. I can't say that I can't feed my critters too this way. He's learning his manners still. He's just a baby still, so he's learning his house routine still. But yeah, no, we take apart. I'll take apart everything. I actually have an extra vacuum pump in storage just in case. I invested in that 2 years after. I actually had a vacuum pump go out, and they sent me one, and then offered me a deal to buy a second one because we're using our machine so much.
It's one of the things. They're not cheap, obviously. You know, the freeze dryer. They're an investment for sure. The parts, the equipment, the pumps. I mean, I think the premier pump like we have on ours. I want to say that thing's like $1,400 or something.
Yeah. I want to say they offered it to me for like $750.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I was back and forth phone calls a lot. You see a lot of bad things online about the freezer, about the harvest, right? You see a lot of negative. There's more positive than negative. My machine's gone down once, and then, like I said, with the pump, we had a pump issue. And then, like I said, my seal is just not sealing, and I may have to buy a new seal because I've had it for 5 years.
Right.
And I've used it for 5 years, as you can see by the amount of food I've got sitting out here.
Do you have one of those little insulator pillow things that goes over yours?
Mine came with it.
Ours did not.
Yeah.
I may have to ask them about that when I call to ask about my oil that they didn't send us, because it would kind of be nice to have it.
Yeah, mine was in the packaging. Look, here comes the cat. He just stole the lunch meat.
Ridiculous health asks
here.
free pump.
On the counter and stole the lunch meat.
It's not an oil-free pump. Ours is the premier pump, but it does take oil. The oil free is a little bit more expensive. So
we opted for not to do the oil free because you do have to send it in for maintenance once a year.
Good to know.
And you pay for the shipping.
That's good to know.
So I actually buy my oil through my Tractor Supply. I don't even get it through the company.
Okay.
Black Gold.
Will you send me like somewhere an email or something the oil that you use?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Black Gold brand is what I end up using.
Now, if you have a problem with your pump, can they not warranty it since you're not using their oil?
No.
Okay.
No. No, because I'm using a hydraulic pump oil, which is the same thing.
So they recommend their oil, but I don't think it says that it voids the warranty by not. Obviously, they're going to recommend theirs so they can sell it to you. So
absolutely, yeah. And then theirs is twice as much, unfortunately. But that's how a lot of these companies do work, you know.
Yeah. It would be nice though to have a good stock of the oil. I don't feel like ours has gone through a lot of oil by any means, but I mean the last thing I want is all this stuff to be ready to freeze dry, and I can't do it. I can't get a hold of oil or something.
Yeah, and I filter my oil after every use. I just have a filter that we've made.
Now,
and
do
we
you
filter
have,
it out and add it back in.
so yours is an older unit, but you have. So do you have? You don't have the Premier pump, then you probably. Okay, because I was gonna say like that one there, like with your pump, they say about every 4 or 5 uses that you're gonna have to filter the oil and stuff. Like with the Premier one, they say that you'll get about 20 to 25 batches on that one before you have to do it. And our oil in the little sight glass is still clear as can be. It's not discolored or anything like that yet. So they say when it starts to discolor, then that's when you want to filter it out. So
well, and Shelby actually takes apart my pump for me. She took a farm engineering class.
Hey, Will.
I have cool teenage and adult children.
Oh, wow.
It was part of her equine science class because she's got her equine science degree. And she took a farm equipment rebuild.
okay.
So she takes apart my pump and cleans it for me about once every 3 months or so.
That's
and
awesome.
cleans it inside and out.
I say our oldest Hunter would probably like to take things apart. I just don't know that I'd trust him to put them back
together. Yeah, exactly. I told Shelby, as long as it all goes back and you have no leftover pieces, we're good.
Yeah.
No.
So there we go. Jesse put that. That's the stuff we use right there. Black gold vacuum pump.
And you can get it on Amazon.
Amazon. Perfect.
I have to place me an Amazon order today.
That's what I'm thinking. Amazon delivers to my house almost every day. They know where I live.
We were joking about that the other day because we were talking about how some of like the really big homestead channels have mentioned that people will just show up at their house. And I'm like, I just would not be okay with that. Nobody is welcome to just show up at my house unless you know.
Totally put them to work and let them scoop poop.
Other than the Amazon driver. I don't know the Amazon driver. You are welcome any day.
No, I'd hand them a shovel and a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Get to work. You're here. I'll put you to work. You got lots of poop to scoop.
That's right. We got something to do at all times around here.
Exactly.
Like a well that doesn't work that I've struggled with for the last week. We thought we had it last night. Everything is new on that well. I hooked it back up this morning and it built up about 10 pounds of pressure and quit again. So, well, guy, finally, I'm throwing the towel in.
You're going to have to call somebody in.
Yep. Well, we have to get it. Doing. The well is what we water the animals with, so it's nice to have that.
Yeah, no, you have to have that water. That's really important. We've got a backup well that's on my parents' side that has a solar to back up for the animal waters. Hello, you've already eaten all the meat we cooked.
That kitty cat's gonna go away full and sad.
Oh, he is. His belly's already full, but he's standing here meowing at me. But don't be afraid to try new things in your freeze dryer. I wouldn't fill your every tray with, something that you haven't tried before, but don't be afraid to try things like this peach sauce. I was like, I don't know if that's going to work. And then we made it. And now I have a ton of it because we had lots of peaches one year. But don't be afraid to try. So yogurt is amazing. Have you tried yogurt bites? Do you know those little toddler bites you can buy at the grocery store that are little yogurt bites? That's all it is freeze-dried yogurt.
Could you take like a big thing of yogurt and just smooth, okay, my hand's here, and just like smooth it out on the tray? Because everyone I've seen has done the drops, and I'm like, I'm just not about to do that. That's a lot of work.
I actually have a rack, and it's out in the garage, or I would go grab it for you. I'll have to post a picture on my community page. But it is a metal rack that gives squares. And what we do is we smooth out our yogurt, and we put the rack in and freeze dry it with the rack in. And when it comes out, it's in squares.
Okay.
Then they're bite size.
I like
little 1 inch by 1 inch squares or something like that.
Yeah, and this actually you can rearrange the size, so you can take out slides of it, and it will. Here comes the cat again. He's like, I know there's more meat.
I know she's distracted.
Come on,
Matt. We understand. Matt over Dean Family Acres said he's been in and out, having some phone calls, so we understand that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. This has been an awesome talk because a lot of people are afraid to take that first step. And I was too. I had watched demos. I went to Oath Keepers meetings where they had them to show people. And I took that first step and I was like, okay, what am I going to make first? Croutons. So we made croutons. We just sliced up old bread and stuck it in there and it worked fine. And I was like, oh yeah, let's try something else. And so we just kept going from there.
Yeah, that's genius. Whenever I cook for dinner, I think I'm going to do like a lot of times I like those one pot type meals and they're always kind of Mexican inspired. So like I'll probably do like black beans and tomatoes and onions and meat and cheese. And I thought I'll probably just throw that all in one pan. That'll be dinner. And then whatever's left over, hopefully I can fill my other 2 trays because I've got the 2 trays of lasagna. Then I'll have a full freeze dryer for tomorrow because right now I've got more goat milk in there. When I get too much goat milk in the fridge and I know it's not going to, we like to drink our goat milk before that 6-day mark because I like it to taste fresh. And I didn't know that I had people that were going to want it. So I threw it in the freezer and now they're freezing. So it's already
Yeah, and we, like I said, we'll do our goat's milk and I'll have it for baby animals if I need to. We had cooney pigs that we had to bring into the house. And I had freeze-dried pumpkin that we had cans that had expired. So I threw it in the freeze dryer and made a pumpkin paste like this peach sauce. And we mixed that with goat's milk powder and reconstituted it for all the baby pigs. And so I was able to feed them off of stuff that I had in storage for my kids. And they survived awesome.
Now, what would you use a pumpkin paste for without the animals?
Pumpkin pie.
Okay.
Yeah, I just used the regular canned pumpkin because, like I said, they were expiring. So once I freeze dried it, that expiration was gone.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it is you're not letting food go to waste. I'm going to have to start being crafty about looking at what stuff's on sale because, like, why not? That's a great idea. I never would have thought freeze dried.
We did fruit cocktail once. I drained the sugar water out of it. And just put the fruit cocktail on and the kids ate that as a snack as well. And then we could actually reconstitute that and put it with whipped cream and make a dessert out of it.
Oh, I bet that would be
good. Yeah. So like I said, don't be afraid to try something because that's been the biggest part where, I look at things and I'm like, okay, so bacon didn't work. I did try it. I wanted to see what it would do, but other things do work. Like the eggnog, who would have thought?
Right.
And it makes eggnog, so in the summertime when you can't get eggnog at the grocery store, I have it. So, I'll neener wiener people. I have eggnog and you don't, because that's one of my favorite things in the world. And we actually just eat it straight in the chunks too. Because it's like eating yogurt bites. It's the same concept.
I like eggnog.
So neener wiener, I have eggnog and you don't.
Up when they can't get eggnog because there's a shortage and begging you to send them eggnog.
Right? I'll be sending Glenn gets a bag of eggnog in the
mail.
Like,
sorry guys. Can't.
Right? But there's a lot of things like a kid will ask for something specific. Sorry, go ahead, Glenn.
So worst case scenario, you try something and it blows up. Then you got a good video on what exploded in your freeze dryer.
Exactly.
I been very worried about things blowing up in my freeze dryer because it just doesn't sound like it would be a fun thing to clean out.
No, and we've had some doozies. We've had some nasty cleanings we've had to do that I'm like, wonder why that did that. So high sugar content you want to stay away from. But things like you can do brownie bites, let's say, that are pre-cooked, and then the kids can just
brownie mix.
See, we've done cookie dough. We've done the cookie dough where where the food's safe, where you don't have the raw egg in it. We've done little cookie dough squares for fun stuff because like I said, my thing is if you want to call it this, if the shit hits the fan and I have no food, I want the stuff that I love.
Right.
And so that's what we focus on is different things.
I agree with that too. I only picked on the Skittles because I was like, well, I need to get everything stocked up that's necessity first.
Yeah, just remember, you make the Skittles, you can trade with people because they want Skittles.
What about chocolate?
Chocolate does not freeze dry really well, unless it's like in something. Like I said, you can do brownie bites, but chocolate itself does not, unfortunately.
I saw a deal on that where somebody said it didn't work.
I think chocolate has a relatively long shelf life anyhow.
It does, and it's oil based. You have to remember that. It's what's in it too. Larry's gonna stick his head in here and say hello because he's got to go to work. He does exist. I'm telling you, he does exist, you guys.
How tall this guy? She's looking up.
Right here. You have to. He's like, where am I?
See
There he is.
Yes, see, there's the height difference. Wait, just come back here.
Oh, the height difference.
Larry, his head's cut off. But he does exist, you guys. I promise. He works a 40, 50, 60 hour a week job. So so we don't see him much. So
you're just home with all them kids. You're working a lot of hours, but at home at least.
Yeah, and I'm in my studio a lot. We've got a lot of things coming out of our studio right now. It's the season where people are showing their animals. Like the kids are showing their animals at the spring shows are coming up. So we do a lot of stall signs for FFA and 4-H. So with the animal names across them, and so they can hang them on their stall fronts for the different shows. So we got 9 or 10 orders yesterday alone.
Good thing about that is every year they get new animals because usually they sell them and
exactly.
And they usually don't make them the same.
Go lock him in a bedroom. He's done. He's
so
fired.
Your guys' subscriber count has went through the roof.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of advertising online, a lot of into Facebook, a lot of Instagram. Yeah, and we're doing Instagram ads. So we're all over right now. Our goal was 10,000 by the end of summer so that we could do our full, we have a clothing line already, but that way we can have it shelved on YouTube. So you have to have 10,000 to do that.
Oh, okay. My goal.
So yeah, it's very much exploded. This time last year, I actually had a video go up, or I lost my brain. Start over. A Facebook. You know how they have what happened the year before? We were at 3,000 last year at this time.
Wow.
So we're at 8,000 something this morning, and I saw 8,400.
Last night you were at like 8.29 or something like that, and I think when we first subbed to you guys, I think you were somewhere around 7.5 or 7, even somewhere in there. And that wasn't but maybe a month ago or something like that, maybe that we actually.
Yeah, we've had 800 new subscribers in the last 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
So now we just got to get them watching all the videos. Subscribers are one thing, but it's actually the watching now. And you know, we talked with some of the larger channels, and they're like, we just don't have time to jump on lives or do things with people. And I'm like, but that's how you build your business. I'm never going to change that about our family. We're never going to be fake on our videos. We're always going to be very real. You know, our video that we posted yesterday was very real about Tristan, and we will always be like that. That is one major thing for our family, is you watch these channels grow and they only want to do positive, and they only want to do go to the next level of stunts or, you know, whatever that they're working on. And that's not ever going to be us. We're always going to be a real family.
Well, there doesn't seem to be any community there. Like, obviously, we started enjoying all of the YouTube videos of the larger channels too, and it was very knowledge-based, and I appreciated it. But now that we're in more of a community here, I'm like, now we're getting to know people. So I would rather my channel stay at 500-something subscribers and have the community than have 500,000 subscribers and it just be videos of us, you know?
Absolutely.
We reached out. When we first started our homestead deal here and our YouTube channel, we actually reached out. I emailed the Living Traditions down in Ava, the ones that came from Arizona.
Yes.
Emailed them about doing just like a farm tour, you know, just meeting them and kind of a day in the life of what they do. And I understand if they didn't want that, but it was just kind of a deal to see if they would, because they've had people do it. But crickets, you know, just zero response. Like those big channels, it just seems like they just, for the smaller people, they don't have time for that.
Well, I can be totally honest. I emailed Arms Family Homestead the other day. They have 600,000 subscribers, and I got an email back from DJ the wife answering my question in my email within an hour.
And their channel blew up in 2020. Like it went crazy.
And I do follow Daniel and DJ. I mean, that's one of the big channels that I have followed for a long time. And so I do. And like I said, they still contact back.
Okay.
And I understand being busy. Like, we all have a life, and it can't be stuck to a screen. Obviously, everything that every one of us is posting videos on, like, we're actually doing. So we're not just sitting here on YouTube all day. So
Right.
it would just be nice to have some response, even if it was like a month later. Hey, sorry it took so long. We're busy. We aren't doing any tours right now. You know, whatever. But I want to keep that relationship part that we've gained.
Absolutely. And that's our goal here as well, is Homestead Where You Are is at 399 subs. So I'll do a shout out there on our channel and try and get yours up. And they do drop off because of not commenting, but it also may be because some of them are not real pages.
Which is the trouble with the Facebook ad, because we did the Facebook ad just to get ours rolling. I mean, it's so inexpensive, and it really gets you out there. But a lot of them will click on your link and sub, and then
don't make any comments, and then YouTube will remove them in a couple.
But it does get you rolling. So Homestead Where You Are, I don't know if you've done any type of Facebook ads, but I mean, they can be from $5 to $5,000, however much money you want to put at it. But it can be a very small budget, and you can name how long it goes. You deposit at any time. Like for one of ours, I think we had like $100 as the max, and we kind of were like, yeah, I think we're done with that one, and just stopped it. So you have options there.
Well, and one thing for us, for our channel, is we started our channel a long time ago, but we didn't really do a lot with it. About 2 years ago, we really started pushing what we do. And it started out more of homeschooling and foster, because that's what we were doing at the time.
That's your life. Yeah.
That it was. And so, and we were homesteading, but when you're a foster family in Arizona, they frown on the whole concept of homesteading at the same time. They don't like you growing your own food. So we had a really hard time with it.
I guess.
So once everything was done and Grayson's adoption was finalized in 2018, we're like, you know what, we're going to go the direction that we want to go,
right, and
really start pushing. And that's what we did.
Absolutely.
So,
it's funny things that are frowned upon.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I don't know.
It's going to come in our home and be fostered and thrive.
I took over her breakfast area. She was like, I'm making a bagel. I just need a knife out of the kitchen cabinet.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so our channel has kind of gone through a growth, and they always will. But you know, Larry and I sat down and he's like, you already have your channel established. Why not do the things that we're already doing here, you know, between the goats and the pigs and aquaponics and gardening, and push that when we still have our occasional ones that are family days, that you'll see those videos.
Yeah.
Because that's our real life, and we're never going to change that.
And it's nice to, you know, I kind of, when we started with the YouTube thing, I kind of felt like after seeing the bigger channels that we had watched, like everything had to be teaching oriented. And that's kind of why we got rid of our first few videos, because we were like, you know, we don't always have the best answer. So let's just video what we're doing. People will learn off of what we're doing, whether it's right or wrong, they're going to learn it. And we'll just encourage people and share what we're, I mean, like I did a video the other day. It was like, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. And literally I was just videoing and chatting as I was out doing what I was already doing, planting earth, that kind of stuff. And it got a lot of feedback. So it's not like it just sat empty.
Oh, Chuck and I have the same hairdo this morning, he said. He's got his little pigtails up.
Let's see it, Chuck.
Yeah, where are you, Chuck? I want to see what
you do. So I was on Danny Day's live yesterday, and she had somebody on there that was talking about, and I don't know how much this really happens or not, but was talking about basically it's kind of risky when you're dropping your link all the time in your lives, that things can happen in the basement, they say, or in the back end, where your channel can get hacked and like you can lose control of your channel. Have you heard of any of that?
I haven't, but it doesn't surprise me.
It's crazy.
It doesn't surprise me. You know, we did where we had dropped. I'm telling you, I want to see Chuck's hair. If he has it anywhere like what I've got right now, I want to see his hair.
You have to put the link in here and see if Chuck wants to jump on and show us his hairdo.
Well, I was just getting ready to say that if that's truly a concern, we may go to where we say like, hey, shoot us your email and we'll email you the link, because they were saying that that's a safer way to do it, is to email it rather than just dropping the link. I don't know. I just know that we've done enough work to get our channel where it is, even though it's not huge. I would prefer it not get stolen.
Well, exactly. And we're newer on lives. We've only done the regular videos. Nick over at Arizona Highland just lives down the road from us and said, hey, why aren't you doing lives? And I said, I don't know. And so we just got started on those. So I think we've done 4 of them so far. And the first couple like when Shelby joined, I just messaged her the link through her phone, because she was just jumping on real quick. So you can do it that way as well. And there's a way to share in this back end of the studio. I did see that along with the giveaways. You can do the giveaways live, where you just type in a word, you choose the word, and then you have them type it in. So we did that. So we did a couple packages that went out yesterday.
I saw that you did that, and that's through StreamYard, right?
It's through StreamYard. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to YouTube how to do that, because I thought that was cool. We've actually ordered some extra hats, and then we'll have like everybody else, like soaps and stuff like that we can give away. But
our stickers ordered. They should be here
stickers,
Friday.
Yeah. So,
and
that would be fun.
Homestead where you are, is it Judy? Am I thinking the right name? See if she responds. If you started in June, you're doing amazing with 400 subscribers. Like I said, we really pushed and really paid for advertising for ours, and we were at 2,000. We monetized right off the bat. So just know that you're doing amazing if you're at 400. I mean, at this point.
And say we're still obviously way below.
I was close. It was a J name. I was so close. It was Janet. Janet at home for where you are.
The biggest thing is just like making that community, being involved in other people's pages too, and not just.
Well, and what we found, give more than you expect.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes. Be more giving than trying to get.
Larry and I have a join link on ours. We joined a lot of other pages to help promote their business.
On your
once you hit, I don't know, 2,000?
Oh, I don't know. That's a waste for me. Okay, I don't know about that. That's why.
Or 1,000, maybe it's 1,000. You can have a little join link where it's part of your monetization. It's after monetization, so you have to have at least 1,000 subscribers. And you can do a little join link, and you set it up where it's 99 cents or $1.99, and it's auto billed, and it helps. We do that, and what we do is anybody who is joined gets an extra video once a month that only they can see, and we show them the projects we're working on with the money that we got from our monetization.
Okay.
So they know exactly where their join money went to.
Very cool. I'll have to check that out on.
Yeah, so we do that, and like I said, we've joined a dozen different sites just to help out. We're like, this is what it's about, is this community and helping them.
Well, and I've noticed too, like with your guys' page, obviously, you've got many more subscribers than us. And, I reached out and was like, obviously we've seen you in all these lives of people with a few subscribers to people with a lot of subscribers. And you're very active in the community and encouraging people and being real. And I feel like that's what it's about, is gathering people together and encouraging each other, and not just being stuck on, getting monetized and that's it. And it's just a business. And I've liked that. I reached out to Kris and asked, hey, do you want to do a live with us and do the freeze dryer? Because obviously we're very interested in the freeze dryer, and I knew she had one and was interested as well. And I had a response back real quick, and here she is, and she's been a wealth of knowledge, and it's been a blessing. And
well, good. I'm glad I could give you some knowledge and eat in front of you.
Well, I'm glad we could give you ideas.
She's got her notepad going on. This is totally breakfast though, this peach sauce. I'm gonna sit and eat this today.
I'm glad you got dinner for the week too now.
I do. We're doing fajitas tonight because I've opened tomatoes and peppers, and chicken.
Yeah.
And
Chicken out because the cat ate it though.
well, yeah, I know. I have the whole bag. He didn't grab the bag. He just grabbed the rehydrated stuff. So he doesn't have his manners yet. He'll get there.
It's like Sam's Club, a little taste test there.
Yeah, and he's good. He keeps running back. He keeps trying to get more. He keeps clawing at my leg and going, "Hey, can I have some more?" Grayson finally had to lock him up. Because he will. Yes, I love that, Jesse. We do, and that's a standard that my family lives by. Is, if there's somebody else that needs something. I mean, I remember there was a family whose house burnt down, and I took a whole bunch of freeze-dried meals to them and said, "Here. They will stay good for you until you need them." And the lady looked at me and said, "What do I do with these?" And I'm like, "Well, you eat them because they're food." And then all of a sudden it just dawned on her that we were giving her shelf-stable food that she could use anytime for her family.
Right.
We kind of had that conversation yesterday a little bit. She was like, I don't know that it's a great idea that we, let people know or show what we have, in our pantry and things like that, because if crap hits the fan, all these people may show up at your house. I'm like, well, I'm just going to put it in the Lord's hands and just trust that, if somebody's showing up here, they're not here to probably hurt me or anything like that. They're hungry.
They're hungry.
They're hungry.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've had this long discussion in our household as well, that if somebody does decide to show up at our house, if they needed to, I'm going to put them to work first.
No.
And then I'm going to feed them.
Yeah.
Because that's what you do. I was raised in a very, very Christian household where you give back. And that's our life.
Hey, Hendrickson Family Farm.
Glenn is always kind of the voice of reason when it comes to his faith. And I'm the one that's like, well, people are going to be breaking in. They're talking about all these shortages, and we're talking about all this stuff that we've been doing, and all these other homestead channels, they're doing all these pantry tours, and I'm like, you're kind of showing everything you have, and so I'm in like mid panic about it, and he just
it is what it is.
Yeah,
and the thing is they have to get to you. That's the thing, is they have to get to where you're at, and a lot of people don't know where you live exactly. I mean, we have always been very protective over location because we were a foster family. And I have some pretty interesting biological family members for my children, who I did adopt. They do not know where we live for a reason.
Sure.
So we've always kept it kind of, we do a post office box instead. I mean, I live in a small town, and my dad has owned a gun store here for 35 years. Everybody knows where I live if you just did the research, but it's okay. And that's, like I said, that's my thing, is there's been people show up hungry before, and I will just put them to work and make them a meal.
Yeah.
Life is good. So
absolutely. And I like that. And at the beginning, we sent out our address maybe once or twice, and then I was like, "Ooh, wait a minute, wait, we shouldn't do that." So
get a post office box.
Well, we have a business address.
We have one.
So
and that's what I've got. I've got your business address, which is perfect.
Which not that I don't trust you, but the more I hand it out, the more it's out.
It can circulate, exactly, and that's us as well. That's us as well. So, what is Chuck? If you don't feed me, I will unsub you. Do you hear that, Jesse? I'm gonna send you some gummy bears, man.
Oh, hey, YouTube does not like things like that. I'm not paying you to subscribe.
Please.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to send him some gummy bears and all will be well. He will be happy. Or Skittles. He wants Skittles, not gummy bears.
He wants Skittles.
I think Jesse earns his keep.
He does. He does, Jesse. Jesse said at one of my lives that if he didn't win the bar of soap, he wasn't going to bathe.
Was it you? I remember hearing that somewhere. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Shelby told him, come back the next week. You may or may not win a bar of soap the next week. And we didn't even give away a bar of soap.
By the way, as I was like snooping through everything you have on social media last night to try and find what picture I could put of you.
Stalking me.
Yeah, I was stalking you. Camera, but I stalked you on
not
Instagram.
Yet.
Well, I went to your Instagram because I thought, well, I could maybe find a picture there that I could place, which I ended up finding one on Facebook
right.
as our deal. I saw your soap I don't know how long ago it was posted. I didn't look that close. Like strawberry lemonade and coconut cream pie and some rose soap. I'm like, man, send me all your ways.
I'm telling you, we actually have about 1,000 bars curing right now.
Oh my God.
Different scents. So we do 60 bars at a time every other day.
Oh, yeah.
So
do you use, I saw a recipe that was, I'm kind of big into this, like we've gravitated away from freeze dryer, but most of this was freeze dryer. That's how the lives work. I don't like the million recipe bar of soap. I think it's probably really luscious and great and wonderful, but it's just not practical for me. Have you used lard? Because I found one that used lard and I thought, well, that's pretty interesting.
I don't use lard because lard does, it can taint later because it's not processed the same way.
See, I use coconut oil and like it was vegetable oil or olive oil, one of the two.
Yeah, I use coconut, olive oil, and castor.
Okay.
And I just use a little bit of castor because that actually hardens your bar a little bit better.
Okay.
And it adds an extra moisturizer in there. And I only use an ounce in a huge container of soap. So did you get a chance to watch? Because I have a video where I did the class online.
I'll watch that though. I'll write that down.
I think I emailed it to you, but I'll email it to you again when we get off here. But that is on my feed, and I sent you my recipe.
Yes, I have your soap link, your soap video link, and I have your recipe for the lotion.
And then there should be an attachment of the soap recipe too.
Okay, I need to print all of that.
Don't tell anybody. Shh.
No, that's sealed. You'll have to go to Kris's homestead page to find all of that.
Right? And if you can't find it, because I know the link wasn't working for the soap, I'll email it to you if you shoot me an email. No, this is our same soap recipe that we've been using for 10 years. The girls have all won blue ribbon at the county fair with this recipe. All of my girls have a blue ribbon off of it because they put it into right.
Ongoing.
My cousin Vinny rocks, and yeah, lard is crazy, especially when it was in their in that movie. They were funny cooking the grits in the lard.
Render my own.
Yeah, soap is super duper easy. I will tell you that it takes some getting used to, and we do both the hot and cold style. I prefer the cold style, and I ice my soap. I do have big crock pots that I can do the warm cooking.
Mine is cold, but I've only done it once, so I am still very new.
You're very behind on the game here.
Pretty much. So my first recipe of soap making, the bar is in my shower and being used. So it's successful.
She's very behind on the game, but very ahead considering we just started all this in like January.
Well, I'm proud of you then. So you're right on track. You're doing good. Yeah, with our soap business, like I said, we've had this for almost 10 years now. We started our lotion about 6 years ago or so. And then our business just kind of exploded. And that's one of the things I wanted to say about when it comes to like our YouTube channel exploding. And we've got TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and we load on all of that. And it's part of our business too. Whether it's about the goats or pictures of the kids or whatever, it's all one entity. So
Jesse.
As fresh as absolutely, but with the craziest hair this morning. I'm telling you, I woke up and I was like, oh yeah, that's good. We have a live today. Larry's just like, your hair is way curly crazy this morning. And I'm like, yeah, we'll just brush it out really good and put it up. But I smell good because I used my soap this morning in the shower. So
Jesse's got some stench going on because he didn't get no soap.
He's just sad. Jesse's just sad.
Hendrickson Family Farm says, I just noticed all the moderators are on a whole bunch of other channels being moderators. That's a pretty neat, nice community. From what I understand, Jesse has like multiple computer screens. So
that's all going at the same time.
He's probably.
Yeah, I just subbed to them yesterday. They're on my new list. I got to watch through. A lot of times you guys will see me on different things, and it's because I put my ears in while I'm working. Because I've got laser machines running, so it's really loud. So I have earplugs that I just listen to different videos as I'm going. So I tend to try and always respond, but I will put one person's channel on while I'm working and watch through their videos from the newest and go back until I'm done with whatever project I'm working on. So you guys will see me around.
I don't want to hear this. We're overworked and underpaid, because I know that you're fixing to get Skittles from Kris. You're fixing a sticker from us. Man.
See, it is what it. I'm just gonna have to send him some stuff. My stickers haven't got here yet either. I've got to call and figure out where those are. We just reordered some. Say what?
Did you order from, what is it, Sticker Mule?
Sticker Mule, yeah. They should be here anytime.
Ours are supposed to, I ordered ours last week, and they're supposed to be here Friday, and I just got the tracking. They'll be here like Friday by 7 p.m.
Perfect. I think I ordered our next batch of them on Thursday of last week, so it should be anytime. But do I even have, I have a new picture. Oh, maybe not. My phone's not even in here. Oh, yeah, it is. Hey, no phone calls while we were on this thing? That's crazy, like. Hold on. I'll show you my new sticker, you guys, coming out. It's really cute. It's Arizona.
I'm going to have to start like a address book of my homestead community, because I've got like different channels with names wrote down, and then I'm going to have everybody's addresses to send our stickers out. And yes, the mod is the mod.
It looks like my sticker was on a story, so it's not on my Instagram page, so I'll have to repost it.
Chuck posted your link to your video.
Thank you. And I don't think the links to the recipes are working, so I'll go back in and fix those this morning.
As if you don't have to do already, Kris.
It's okay. Well, I have to go pick up turkeys here in a little while, so remember, the post office called and said they were peeping at him.
Yeah, they'll keep calling too if you don't show up.
Yeah, that's what I was looking. They didn't call while we were here, so I'm like, we're good.
Hendrickson family. Oh wait, okay. Can't do Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. I need a name. And Hendrickson Family Farm, I need a name too. If you share.
She needs a name. She's.
I like it. It's nice when you sign into somebody's live and they're like, hey, Glenn, or is it just so like they know who you are? So I want to be able to do that for people too.
It's nice to know a name and not exactly where you are, but what state you're in possibly would be nice.
Yeah.
That's always nice to know.
Exactly. Teresa is Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. And okay, the freeze dryers are the only brand that you can purchase as an individual, not a commercial brand, but the only brand you can purchase for a household is from Harvest Right. And I think there was a link that you guys threw up there for your affiliate.
Yeah,
and they have small, medium, and large sizes. I have a medium that runs all the time and has for the last 4 or 5 years. So that's, and they run, I want to say I spent $3,000 on mine way back when.
Ours was $2,900, and we had the medium one. That was the new one. That was with taxes.
Perfect. And I got deals on mine. I had extra trays. I had.
There you go. Look at Jesse, that mod father, posting all that stuff.
Yeah, it should all be on there. Oh, there it is, right there. Perfect.
Now you probably got a heck of a deal when you bought yours, but see, now all of this kind of stuff is very popular. So we knew we were not getting a deal on ours, but it was one of those things where like, we know we want it. We know it's an absolute, it's not a necessity, I guess, but a fantastic investment for our homestead. So we just went ahead and jumped in both feet, knowing that we weren't getting a good deal.
And we did not get it, even though we have a tax ID number and everything set up for our homestead, we did not get it tax-free. They would not sell it to us tax-free. Even though it was for the homestead, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, only their commercial ones will they do that. That's what we tried too. So yeah, they had to be the big $10,000 ones for it to do that to happen. But like I said, not only can you do the freeze dry on your own, which is what I prefer, but we like Thrive Life. And I'll get an affiliate link for you guys. We just signed up with them. We were customers of theirs, but we signed up as actually a distributor for them as well, because I want to make sure that I have enough food for my crew.
So you said affiliate link for Harvest Right. Do you have an affiliate link for Harvest Right?
I do. I make $100.
I need to look into that.
It's a link on the bottom of their webpage. You have to sign up with it, but make sure you get that because that way you get credit for people buying it.
Well, absolutely. If I'm going to sit on here and, I mean, obviously we didn't push harvest right or freeze drying because we were getting paid to do it. Like we truly enjoy it. So if I'm going to be pushing it and advertising, it would be kind of nice to at least get something.
So yeah, if you all buy a freeze dryer or are going to look at one,
Give me a
go
few
to
days.
Kris's page and click.
Do your page for that. But if you just want to buy freeze dry food, I'll get you my link for that so that it's an opposite thing.
We don't have any links. So at least if you're going to do something.
Yeah, no, you guys, like I said, it's well worth it. And we use it probably every third meal right now in our house is something that we've already freeze dried.
So sell your microwaves.
Sell your microwaves.
Freeze dryer.
I actually used my Keurig. That's how I did this morning is I used my Keurig and had it do hot water in a couple coffee pots. That's how I did all the rehydrating.
We got rid of our Keurig.
Did you? Oh no, I have my 1 cup of coffee every morning.
It's not worth it when we've got 2, 4, 6 cups going out. Plus kids jump in. I've got 2 that like coffee. So I got Keurig is not good in this house.
Now, just know, go on to Harvest Right too when you do that because sometimes they have a layaway plan because that's actually what we did is put it on layaway. So if you don't have money to buy it right now, you can put $100 down or $500 down or whatever and pay it off over a 6-month period. I think is what they had at their layaway. And that's actually what we did.
Layaway is one of them deals that should be something that comes back around to keep people out of debt as much as possible instead of just throwing stuff on credit cards. If you can't afford it, they just put it on a credit card or something. That's kind of where the world has gone, and it's put a bunch of people in a debt that they couldn't afford.
Exactly. Larry and I have no credit cards. We have no debt when it comes to that. The only thing I have is student loans.
Yeah.
That's it. And our house is just about paid off.
We were just talking about this, me and Jessica's dad, Tim, we were talking about this the other day, you know, how layaway used to be a thing.
As a matter of fact, there is layaway on Amazon as well.
Didn't know it.
I actually saw it on another channel. Whose was it? It was another homesteading channel had done a video about how to save money because the prices on Amazon are going to be going up 5% here. And I can't remember who it was now. They had a great video though on it.
The nice thing about the fryer is it's not a necessity. Like you can still preserve your food without having one, but at least if you know at this point that you want one, you know, you can start stocking away any extra when it comes about and get one in the future.
That or a dehydrator even. A dehydrator is better than nothing.
This is, what are those? Green onions. Those are pickled green onions. And so we can. I do that too. We have a dehydrator. You cannot make beef jerky in a freeze dryer. So I have a dehydrator. I have a big Excalibur dehydrator that I actually had 2 of them and sent one to Shelby's house so she can do things and she runs hers all the time too. But I have those kitchen carts. I purchased things that work for us. So I have a kitchen cart for my dehydrators that stack. And so we just bring it in the house and load it up and plug it in. And then when we're done with it, we clean it and put it back out to the garage on this little cart. So it's not being carried.
Also the dehydrating thing, you don't have to have a dehydrator to dehydrate. If you have an oven, you know, you can dehydrate things in your oven at a low temp and just crack the oven a little bit and it works almost the same.
Absolutely. And if you watched our video on our sun oven that we did, we just cooked the chicken in the sun oven.
I'm going to have
to dehydrate in that too.
That's neat.
I actually come with like a cookie rack that you throw in and you can put your like beef jerky and stuff on that and just let it cook through the day. And it's jerky.
I need to check into that. That's neat. It was at a solar oven that you called it.
Yeah.
The word solar oven.
This particular brand actually comes bagged up. I have it sitting right here because I was going to do another video, but now I make a fajitas for dinner, so I'm not doing this. It comes all back up. Also,
it.
Yep.
Sunflower.
It like opens up and
it pops open.
I'll write that on my list to check out. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and there's a link on my page on the video for this one too. Amazon link for you.
Have you done the actual video on cooking something in that?
Yeah, we've done a couple videos on this one. We have a couple different ones. We've got a couple big box ones too. So
that is crazy.
But yeah, and so this just sits outside. Can't do it on really windy days. Today I could do it. We've got a lot of smoke in the air right now because we have a forest fire just 25 miles from us.
Oh,
So yeah, Nick's getting slammed with smoke at his house. But this all stores right in this bag. It just fits all right back in.
that's neat. That is very cool.
So
Now,
I keep it on the top of my cabinets. I just keep it up when I'm going to use it.
where do you keep your freeze dryer? Do you have it in your kitchen?
It's in my laundry room. I have a really large laundry room with countertops, and we actually have chickens in there too right now and quail on the countertops. And then I've got a big table. My laundry room is probably what's the size of a bedroom. I mean, it's huge. So I have an incubator and my freeze dryer and my washer and dryer on the other side. And there's a big window in there. So I leave mine in there. It gets too hot in the summertime here in my area to run it outside in the summertime.
Well, when we first bought ours, we put it in our our house is kind of open concept. So our kitchen, living room, dining is all pretty well wide open, and we put it in our dining room. But then we watched a video of somebody and they turned it on and we're like, oh my gosh, that is loud. So we put it downstairs. But ours really isn't loud, and I kind of wish I had it in my kitchen just because
it's a different pump
there.
The Premier pump is quieter.
It sure is. And so I have the louder, older pump. So the kids will roll their eyes if they're like, oh, it's going overnight again, you know? And I'm like, put in earplugs, watch a movie. I don't know, fall asleep that way.
Thankful that Mama's taking care of the food for you.
Exactly. You're going to eat and you're going to have strawberries that you stole out of my kitchen.
Right.
But we do have ours in there. My laundry room is big, but for those who don't know, a freeze dryer is about the size of a dishwasher. I mean, it's a big appliance. It's not just a little.
It doesn't sit on your kitchen counter.
No, it wouldn't even fit under kitchen cabinets if it sat on your kitchen counter. So it would take over, half of my island here.
Yeah.
So no, but I think all families need to look at investing in dehydrators and in freeze dryers. I think it would save so much in throwaway food, and
if you
could double.
It's definitely something to look into. If you can afford the initial purchase, yes, it will be a huge deal when it comes to preserving foods and not having to spend a whole day canning in the kitchen and stuff like that, with like the tomatoes and the peppers and all those things in the garden that can be freeze dried as well. It's nice to be able to cut those things up, put them in the freeze dryer, and kind of walk away from them and go do other projects, or even put them in there and then still be doing some canning at the same time also, and freeze drying and canning at the same time. So
all the tricks up my sleeve. I cheat at poker too, so be careful.
That is funny. Well, I know you got to get some turkeys picked up.
Yeah, I better run and do that. I'll make sure there's no more meat left on the counter so that Target the cat doesn't help himself while I'm gone.
There you go.
But we will have a video on Thursday about the turkeys that we're picking up today. So tomorrow we'll have a video for today's turkeys. I do not run my videos that far ahead. I cannot plan that far ahead. So a lot of times we are literally filming and posting the same day.
That's a lot of us. We've actually got some chicks that are about to hatch in the next couple of days, so that we're going to be running that live, which it'll be a continuous deal. It's probably, we're going to sit the phone over there and let it record live for a while. So if people jump in and jump out, we'll understand. But it's for our kids, our 6-year-olds class at school. They're watching it in their classroom, so we're doing it live here so that they can jump in and watch the chicks hatch and things. So
It
That
will
is
be
awesome. That is so awesome.
hours. So
See, you're homeschooling kids in a public school by doing that. That's awesome.
we're going to put our reach anywhere we can.
So you guys, you can always reach out to me. Like I said, I try and respond to emails within a few hours if I can. Like I said, I'm not going to turn into a person who disappears. But and Harvest Rate actually gives one away every month.
Wow, every month.
Every month, and I get an email constantly because I'm like, oh, I could use a second one. But then I would turn around and give it to one of my kids, probably at their house anyway, to make sure that they're doing
Get you the quiet one.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, definitely double check and shoot me an email. Any of you who does need to get a hold of me, I can answer questions. And if I don't respond, it's not because I am ignoring. It's because I have a farm and lots of children, and
All of those videos we're watching, you're actually doing that stuff right.
doing that stuff right then and there. Is I was supposed to plant carrots in the garden, and I didn't get to that because the smoke was coming in, and now I'm behind on planting. So we did just order a new greenhouse tarp for the aquaponics to get that back up and running. So that'll be up and running in the next couple
down on you guys.
So we are there. Oh, Jennifer's saying, what? Yeah, go on to Harvest Right. Get signed up for their email. Do it, because they do give away all the time. They always have a giveaway going. So yeah,
Exactly.
Cool.
I'll have to get on there and get signed up too, so that maybe we can win a second one. Who knows?
exactly. All right. Well, thank you for planning my meal today. I totally appreciate it. Fajita as it is.
Make out of all that stuff.
I will have to do a video on using it now.
There you go. I'm gonna have to send you now that I have your phone number, I have to send you a text so you can like text me photos of what you got going on.
Absolutely. Well, like I said, we're definitely having chicken fajitas tonight because I have tomatoes and onions and garlic opened and chicken opened and bell peppers opened. So
we just planned your dinner, but also your next video.
Exactly. So we're all set, you guys. Thank you so much for having me on today. And like I said, email me anytime, you guys.
Thanks, Kris.
Jesse
has to win one. He needs soap, he needs Skittles, and now he needs a freeze dryer.
Well, if he wins the freeze dryer, you have to pick it up in person, Jesse. No shipping.
I'll meet him in Utah.
freeze dryer.
It's 10 hours for me. I'll meet him in Utah.
Oh, shoot. Well, everybody have a good day. Thank you so much. If you don't mind, hit that like button. If you haven't checked out Kris, go to her page. The link's all over the comments. I think everybody on here probably has, but if not, check her out because she's fantastic. And Larry does exist. We saw him.
He does. He does exist. He just works a lot of strange hours.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone who did our moderating. That is such a blessing too. It helps everybody kind of get in interacting with everybody. So thank you, Jesse, and everybody else who Chuck. I know I wasn't
He left.
watching
he had to
everything.
go meet somebody
So
for lunch.
everybody have a fantastic day.
Bye, you guys. See you soon.
Bye.
How about this?
I'm trying.
Down there.